Alright, so with Series 2 coming to a close in Forza Horizon 5, we are given another trial for a vehicle. This time in 'Tis the Season to be Hooning, we are rewarded with the 1994 Hoonigan Ford Escort RS Cosworth WRC, nicknamed the Cossie V2. In the championship event, we are restricted to Class S1 Hoonigan cars, and it appears that you can take out only a few of them, although I have seen some that are not listed in the car restrictions. I'm still not entirely sure if that's because of rented cars or if you can actually take out other ones as well. As for the maps going in order, we begin with Hilltop Descent, move into Wetland Charge, and finish with Jungle Descent, with all maps being part of the street scene. Each map tends to have some notable sharp corners which can throw you off, and since you're using PI 900 cars, you might want to take a bit of time to practice the courses before you accidentally crash and lose places. There are also some straights that you can use to your advantage if you build towards speed, although those are far and few between. There's only one time that you really use it, otherwise you still want some handling in there as well. I'll be going over 3 cars as usual: the Hoonigan Porsche 911 Turbo, the Hoonigan Ford Escort Group A, and the Hoonigan Ford Escort RS 1800. Tuning codes will be in the description and also in their respective sections of the video. They will pop up on screen alongside the pros and cons of each car. To kick things off, we have the Porsche 911, and I'm using a rear-wheel drive setup that's tuned towards handling and top speed. I gave it more oversteer so that I can make it through the corners while carrying quite a bit of speed. Now, it can be tricky to launch if you're not used to rear-wheel drive vehicles, myself included, and maintaining throttle control, especially when exiting corners, is vital. Otherwise, if you put too much power, you spin out. It's an excellent vehicle for catching up on straights and giving leeway for turning, and it feels very responsive. Next up, we have the Group A Escort. Similar to the Porsche, this one's tuned towards handling and top speed, however, it uses an all-wheel drive setup, so it has a bit more understeer. A lot more understeer. Because of the all-wheel drive setup though, it can launch itself fairly quickly and get ahead of the pack early on if you don't like driving around your teammates. It's a bit more forgiving than the Porsche, but the understeer may cause some problems when you run into those tight corners. This one's less about throttle control and more about brake control, and easing them at the right times. And lastly, we come to the RS 1800 Escort, which is the slowest of the bunch. Overall, it acts much like the previous Escort, having an all-wheel drive setup, although relying a bit more on handling. It's very forgiving, and through my limited testing, it felt like it bit the road a bit more better than the Group A version. I could be completely wrong though, so take that with a grain of salt. It still shares most of its pros and cons with the Group A version as well, leaning towards brake control and quicker launches, and this one is just a solid choice for this event. All in all, this event may be a bit tricky in getting the hang of the tracks, but hopefully one of these cars can aid you in getting that Cossie, or the 10 seasonal points.